Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? It's not me, because I cannot breathe underwater, and I'm not a sponge, but, yeah. Hey guys! It's Spacey Sims, and I am being crazy, and we are here for kind of an updatey thingamajiggy. This is really just a ramble session. That's what it is. Maybe that's what I'll title it. I don't know. I'm feeling a little crazy. I'm losing a little bit of my mind. We know this. I'm not sure I really had much of it to begin with, but anyway, we'll get to that. Short little update about our missing games and things being all off. We're still on that. That's still happening. That's still going on. So I kind of wanted to just pop in. For those of you who watch Mystic Destinies, there is an important poll. Not really. I will probably forget to put a poll on the video, but an important thing that I need your input on. So on Saturday, depending on when this goes up, I have no freaking idea when I'm posting this video. But on Saturday, the 21st, the last episode of Mystic Destinies for Takumi's route, i.e. doing all of the endings, will be posting. And on that video, I need you, those wonderful people who love that game as much as I do and love that series, to put out your opinions on what you want to do. Because it will probably be until April when Hikaru's route is out. And so that leaves us a lot of time with nothing. Do you want me to do the epilogues? Do you want me to figure that out, space it out so that we have Mystic Destinies somehow between now and April? Or you want me to just hold off and do them after? That's your opinion. That's what I need you to vote on, leave your opinion on in that video. You can leave it here if you really want to, but there's more details on that one. I don't want to spend too much time on it, so go forth into the future, or the past, probably the future. I'm probably going to post this in the middle of the week anyway, so go forth into the future, my friends. Hop in your TARDISes, your DeLoreans, whatever it is. Go to Saturday, watch that video, post what you think, and then we'll figure it out. Kind of already have mapped out an idea if we want to do the epilogues, but I'll discuss that more when we get kind of the feedback on that. Next week, we will probably not have Mystic Destinies, just to give you guys time to watch that, leave your comments, and for me to figure stuff out, what we're doing, and whatnot. So, I will probably do another update on that specifically next week, so you guys know. Hopefully, I remember. I'm doing good with updates these days. Woo! But anyway, so more importantly, what we are doing here, what is most important here, is Sims. And all right, brace yourselves, guys. I'm kidding. I don't want to scare anyone. This is not anything being canceled or quit or anything like that. I just want you guys to know that ahead of time. I am just completely insane because I just want to tell you a little story. So this is a story of, well, me, obviously. So it's funny because I was thinking as I was recording this week, and I was recording, I believe it was alternate realities when we were moving the plot. Spoiler alert for those of you who don't watch that. Shh, don't listen. Who am I kidding? It's fine. Go watch it. It's great. Everyone kind of, we got opinions and suggestions to move our list from our Blackwell Crest challenge into the alternate realities challenge. And I was like, I love that. I do, because I love mixing my Sims up. So it was funny because I was thinking about it. Oh, we're moving Arliss into that one, and we've moved King into House Rules, and First Librarian from our Time Lord challenge is putting his stubby little stupidness into everything because he's gotten his little dirty fingers into the Stardust challenge, just by way of backstory. It's not like he was actually there that we saw anyway. And all these things. So it got me thinking, like, oh my god, all my series are kind of like interwoven, and I love that. Don't get me wrong. I always put Sims from other challenges into my games and other things so you can see them in the background or whatnot. So I kind of, I don't want to say I mapped it out. I post-it noted it out, and let me tell you something. Sidebar, post-it notes suck. Why the frick do post-it notes not stick? That's the whole point of a post-it note, is to stick. I have to thumbtack them to my walls because they won't stick to my walls, which I blame my walls for this. I blame whatever freaking fancy-ass paint shit they put on my walls that's like a post-it note won't stick to it, nor will my awesome like wall decals. They kind of all start peeling off. I gotta like I walk in my bathroom and there's just random sticky things all over my floor because they keep falling off my walls. And it's not because of the shower, because this is my guest bathroom. But anyway, and they won't even stick to themselves. I stick a post-it note on a post-it note and it falls off. It's like, what the hell is this bullshit? goddamn Post-it. They just don't make Post-it notes the way they used to, man. Anyway, so they're all thumbtacked. I literally wrote a Post-it for every single series that I've done. Most of them. I think like 98% of them. And so some of them are off on one wall, just a Post-it note over there that says, okay, these are things that I did in the past. And then I have a whole other wall because I have a little alcove where my desk goes. And I think I talked about this in one series. Like, I should just do this. And I did it. I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, technically, doing this and organizing this. And I literally have Post-it notes all over this tiny little wall with all my things and how they link to each other. And I would say it's epic. It's not quite epic yet, but it will get that way. But we have our Time Lord challenge that links to our future Time Lady challenge with, not going to spoil that one. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'm not going to spoil the ending of that. For those of you who watched it, you do know. Obviously, it's a spin-off. That's how it links. And then also in our Time Lord challenge, I'm sorry, Madame Ethel, we know, she had kids. And I just did in CAS. I made a bunch of kids for her. Like, what would her kids look like? And one of those kids was Earl Grey, who was the anti-hero, whatever you want to call him, of our single father challenge. So, okay, so kinda, which also kind of links to the Time Lord challenge since, Earl Grey's backstory is his mother, which is Madame Ethel, and I admitted that, claims she was, abducted by a time traveling alien and, um, ended up in an asylum. So alternate reality, alternate universe Madame Ethel there. But yeah, so again, and so that was kind of neat. And honestly, Lady Elvira, who was also in our Time Lord challenge, was one of the children that eventually happened. Spoiler alert, sorry. Was actually in a version of her, which is also Madame Ethel's daughter, was in Safiza's Time Lord challenge. So I got my feet in other people's games. My Time Lord and all those characters are getting their shit in everybody's business. Like, this is, they're peanut butters in everybody's chocolate. This is pretty funny. But yeah, so that's like a nice little link. And then we have our Warehouse on Black Street challenge, which turned into Blackwell Crest because it was a spinoff. And Blackwell Crest has now dipped its toes into a couple of challenges, with Arliss moving into our Alternate Realities challenge and King moving into our House Rules Legacy. Our Kitchen Sink and our Pendragon Legacy challenges were closed off. I stopped doing those series and combined them into our Every Which Way challenge. And not going to say that someone from the Blackwell Crest challenge isn't going to find its way into something else, because that's how this is going. And I actually almost had a vision for Blackwell Crest of Ulrich somehow, because, First Librarian is a douchebag and keeps kidnapping people. Somehow him getting his muddy little toes in and Ulrich getting lost with First Librarian and ended up in our Stardust challenge. And I just kept thinking, God, that'd be freaking brilliant. Because I'm like, I have all these Post-it notes linked by little strips of duct tape, mind you, like really fancy duct tape. Because I didn't have strings, and I was like, I don't really want to draw all over my walls. I kind of wanted to draw all over my walls. I figured the Post-it notes would be easier to move around, but I have to have them thumbtacked in with my awesome owl push pins that my sister gave me. Can you just imagine the beautifulness of this? I should have taken a picture and input it in this so you can see how great it is. But anyway. And then we have a couple of other challenges that are going on, like Stardust, My Shuno Memoirs, and My Little Pony, which aren't linked to anything right now, which is just sad. We need to fix this. Except for My Little Pony, because that kind of has to be a standalone. But anyway, so I was looking at all this, and I was doing this, and when I was doing looking at my Time Lord stuff and how it was our future Time Lord, and I just kept thinking about it. And I kept thinking about, God, my plans for that one, and kind of, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm going to wait a little while, let the Time Lord challenge, the original one, let the librarian settle down into my soul, and so I don't have to worry about, what happens to him, and I don't have to feel like I miss him. But, like, I literally did watch the end of that challenge because I couldn't remember what happened. I almost give a spoiler, and I'm not going to do that for anyone who hasn't watched it. I wanted to remember what happened because I was missing something. So I was like, let me check that. And I watched, and I just watched the end of it, and I was like, oh God, I feel so sad. And like, I feel like a piece of me is missing. Like, I feel like I blocked it out because I didn't want to know, and I've been so busy with stuff. But it made me kind of reminisce about that and how I wanted to do our spinoff. And I know that I would have to like take a step back and I would have to research and remember everything that I did and, all the plans that I had because I've got notes everywhere. Um, and that was something that I was like, wow, am I ready to take that on? There's also something else that I've done, and I will import a picture. Maybe I just did. I got to rearrange. Like I got my pictures timed and I got to figure it out. But I will import a picture somewhere around meh. Maybe it's up now. Maybe I'll put it up right this second. I don't know. Um, and hopefully I do, and I remember to do this because you know me, I'm dumb. But anyway, he will be in here somewhere. I actually thought about this, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and I did this in The Sims 3. I did a Rainbow Legacy. And the I had a lot of fun doing it, but unfortunately, you couldn't do it in The Sims 4 when I started because you only had the base skin tones. And the whole point of the Rainbow Legacy is just what it sounds like. It's a rainbow. Like you have to have funky colored skin tones and everything. And that was something I could do in The Sims 3, but you couldn't at the point before in this one. But I started thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it for like months. Like, I want to eventually do that, even though I know I have so many freaking legacies, and what the hell am I thinking? Oh my god, Spacey, just fucking stop. But so the sim that you saw the picture of, he's probably gone by now. Or maybe I'm just putting him up now. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. You'll know. He's all gray. And that is sterling silver, I believe. He was sterling gray in my Sims 3 one. I believe I named him Sterling Silver in this one. And he would be our founder. And the Rainbow Legacy is where you start with a sim that is all white or gray or, you know, black, white, gray, like neutrally kind of color like that. So he's like silver, gray, little bit of white, whatever. And then you mix in the colors of the rainbow. So basically, like he would meet, say, for example, a woman that is all red. Everything about her is red. And of course, me, you know, me, her name would be something red, like Scarlet Red or Red Apple or something. Apple Red, something stupid like that. And I've actually done research and like pulled out color names, like okay, this for this, and like names that I can use for Sims, that you know, male and female, that would be symbolic of their colors, like sterling silver. Hi, real uncreative here. Anyway, so for example, he would marry, say, a sim that is all red, and then you would see their child would be a mix of red and grays. And then that child would marry a child that is, say, all orange, and then whatever. But you can do it in any color order. You don't have to do it in rainbow order. But you would go through and you would do obviously red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink. So that'd be like 7. I think it would really only amount to 6. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. Yes, 7. That's 7 different colors. But how did I work that out? So the first generation would be the combination of like him and the red, and then second would be orange, yellow, green, blue. So I think it's like 6 or 7 generations. I don't really, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I figured it out, but you do the math. I don't feel like thinking right now. And then by the time you get to the child at the end, you should have a compilation of all these rainbow freaking colors. And I've already created the thumbnail for this. Actually, I haven't created the thumbnail for it. I lied. I thought of the thumbnail and I have the plan for it. I already have the name of the series. It would be called Over the Rainbow. Cause how terrible is that? I love it. And it's just something that I put on the back burner, and I've done this recently. Like, okay, here's what the way it's gonna go. Like, and I kind of planned it out. Like, you know, when something ends, I'll think about that. And then I was thinking about the time lady. Our lovely, lovely time lady, who would be Lady, I believe her name was Lady Hart, and she would be either Lady Hart the first, the second, or the third, or etc. And her, obviously, Time Lord name is the Negotiator. And there's a story behind that. Sort of. I haven't quite hashed that out. But anyway, and then, of course, there was another game that I had been thinking of a long time ago, that I wanted to do. I'm not going to tell you anything about that one because uh, I'm thinking, that one I'm going to tie into something else down the road. I think I'm going to hold off on it. I'm thinking I can kind of use the idea that I had for that with something else. But it's not going to happen for a while. And of course we know if if the speculation is correct about pets, like I know I'm really just hoping the hell it is, but if it's true, then I really still had my idea for Scooby Doo, but my fear is that I have seen people now that we've gotten toddlers, like, look, here's my Scooby Doo Sims, and I changed them to toddlers, and then there's a bunch of people with Scooby Doo Sims, and I'm like, you know what? I just have this horrible feeling that Pets is going to come out, and there's going to be like all these people that are doing Scooby Doo kind of theme LPs, and I have this fear, and I'm like, I've been planning this for 2 years. I've been planning this since I started playing The Sims 4, so probably longer than 2 years ago. But I have posted about it and I have mentioned it and I have said it since the moment I started my channel. There is a discussion on the discussions tab of my channel where I said, as soon as we get damn pets, I'm doing Scooby Doo. That's it. So it's gonna kill me if other people do it. But I just kept thinking, I can't stop other people from doing it, obviously. It's not like I own Scooby Doo or anything like that. But I don't want to be that person that has the same thing out there. I know that other people did My Little Pony, and I did My Little Pony. I started it, and then I looked and I saw other people did it, and I was like, well, kind of glad I kept doing mine or didn't look beforehand because it would have stopped me from doing it. I would have been like, oh, other people are doing it. I know nobody's. I mean, you have to know there's people who created My Little Pony Sims. There's people who created Scooby Doo Sims. I know they exist out there in the gallery. I've seen them. But I just feel like if I started, like Pets came out and I started a Scooby Doo theme LP just right when 10 other people did, I'd just feel like, oh, I don't want to try to that competition. So I've kind of revamped it. We're still doing a Scooby Doo theme. It's just going to be slightly different. Um, and I have some things that I'm going to work into it. And actually, the other kind of game that I was thinking of doing, that is actually going to tie into Scooby Doo, which is why I did not want to tell you what it is, just because that would kind of give away exactly how I'm changing and altering it. So it would be like kind of an alternate universe Scooby Doo. We're going to do it slightly different, a little bit different ideas. And hopefully, if Pets comes out this year, that is what we will be doing. I am thinking that that would probably at that point take the place of my Shuno memoirs. I feel like um, I know that my Shuno Memoirs is only going to last for so long. I know that Virtually and Safiz and I are all having so much fun with this, and I love this series, and I'm not like looking for it to go, but I just figure like maybe once the next expansion pack comes out, that'll be its time. I don't know. That's just my guess. Who knows? But my thing is, and this is why I explained this to you, and I'm telling you about these series, not necessarily Scooby Doo, because I can't do anything about that yet because we don't have pets, so that would be dumb to start. Anyway, but the reason why I'm telling you about the Rainbow Legacy and about the Time Lady Legacy is because, or Time Lady Challenge, is because I'm crazy and I keep thinking in my head, could I fit these in? Could I do them? Obviously, My Little Pony, we're on the third generation. We're going to have one more. That one's going to probably filter out in a couple of months, maybe mid year. Who knows? But am I crazy enough to start another series or two right now? And is that something that if I say, it's a possibility I have these two other things, I might do one of them. Maybe I'll do both of them. Figure out random days where you might get two sim series a day. Is that something that you guys would flip your lid about and be like, please freaking God do it? I mean, I'm crazy and I'm not saying that it's smart, but I don't know. I just feel like right now I just kind of almost have the whim to do it. But I think I wanted to throw this out there, get your opinion, and see what you think. Do you think that that's something that sounds super exciting and oh my God, please do it? Is there something that if I'm not saying that I'm going to replace anything, but if I had to replace something, I can't even do that. I love my series too much to replace them. The only thing I was thinking potentially to say cut down on the amount that I'm doing, but still give you everything is kind of taking a page out of Safiz's boat, out of her book, actually. No, you don't take pages out of books. Stealing her sail, whatever, is kind of like the idea of doing a rotation. So, she started doing rotations of seasons of things like, okay, I'm going to play this a couple of games, and then when we get to the end of the generation, I'm going to move on and do something different to keep it fresh and to stop, you know and to not get the boredom or not get overwhelmed with things. And I'm wondering if that would be a good thing to do on this for me. Obviously, certain things like my Shuno memoirs will never go away. My Little Pony, I probably would keep and not worry about just because, whatever. Everything else, we're basically either about to start the next generation or we've just started. So it would be kind of a balancing act to kind of weed to that point. So it would be a weird interim thing before we got there. Um, but thinking of having 4 things maybe going at a time instead of 7. And then, we do a season, we do a generation, and then we start another series when something wraps. Okay, now we're doing something new for a generation and then we pause it and flip back and forth, so we still have all of the series going. Nothing is done, but I don't feel burnt out on anything. I don't feel like I'm getting bored with something because we're getting back into almost say starting a new story with these Sims and starting um you know a new generation, and instead of being like, oh god, I keep playing the same thing, it's like, okay, we haven't played this one in a while. And there's obviously a couple that probably wouldn't be on that. Like I said, Moshino Memoirs is going to keep going until it's done. My Little Pony I would probably keep going until it's done just because we're close enough, sorry, to the end. Don't want to scare anyone, but we're on the third generation out of 4. We're only doing one more after this, and there's no point in like pausing that one now when we've come to this point. Um, but maybe before we start other generations for certain things, we'll kind of pause them and start something new in its place. And rotate things like that. You know what I mean? So it could even be in not a complete total rotation. It could be like, okay, um, what am I looking at? Alternate realities. I'm looking at my wall board. Alternate realities. We're almost to the point where we're starting the third generation. And same thing with Blackwell Crest. We're almost to that point. Maybe those two, when we get to that point where our heirs age up, we pause them and we do a season of the Time Lady and the Rainbow Legacy. And then when those ones are hitting that point, and then something else is going to say, all of a sudden, some other legacy series is going to hit the point where it's aging up to the next generation. We pause that and then we bring alternate realities back in. And it's just a constant rotation. So there's 7 different things going on at a time. You always have something every day, but it might not always be the same 7 series. We would have other ones that we rotate in, you know? So alternate realities takes a break for a month or two while we start on the Time Lady and she's in there, and then all of a sudden Stardust might pause because we hit the next generation, but then alternate realities is back in. And it's not A, B, and C, D, E, and F. There's a rotation where it could be A, B, and D, and E, C, and G, and you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? I don't know if it's making sense. I can see it in my head. I wish I could draw you a diagram, but I'm not taking that kind of time. Sorry. You know what I mean? And just, it would always be something kind of slightly different, and we would only pause something when we're moving on to the next generation, and that kind of a thing. And that's something to do this way. I could have more than the 7 series going. I don't think I would feel like, oh my god, I'm getting so burnt out on anything where I just don't want to do it anymore. And it would pause, bring something else in, and then that other thing would come back, and it would just be this constant rotation of different things. And now, yes, that means you're not going to have a set day with House Rules is always on Tuesday, because something else, if we pause that one for any reason, the generation ends, it's got its season pass to take a little bit of a break, something comes in, then something else on like Blackwell Crest pauses, and then House Rules comes back. The days are going to change. You know what I mean? Um, so everything would be on slightly different days. You never know what you're going to get, but would that be way more confusing? Um, I don't know. So it's something to think about, to consider, what you think would work. I'm looking for, your guys' input because you're the ones that watch the channel. And just because something works perfectly for me does not mean it's going to be perfect for you guys. And I kind of want us to come to a point where we can look at it and go, hey, yeah, you know what? This kind of works for both of us. Like, hey, it's hard for me to manage 10 different series, but I have 10 different things that I want to do. But if we do that kind of a rotation-y thing, it works better. Or, yeah, it would work better if I had 5 things going at a time and then I pause those couple of things. We have 5 other things and then we pause and we just flip back and forth so it's a little more structured than a beautiful waterfall kind of flow. Like, can we handle the waterfall kind of flow? Is it one of those things where it's like, I don't give a crap what day shit's on as long as there's 7 different things, something new every single day. I don't care what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So, and just kind of looking at that in that perspective and that kind of a thing. So just let me know what you guys think. Is it something that you're like, please God, don't preempt anything, I don't want anything to pause? Or I could totally deal with something pausing for a little while if something new is in its place, as long as I know that series is going to come back. And there's honestly no reason that any of my series would end completely. I am not bored with any of them, I am not tired of any of them. and I'm thinking of the cycle kind of a thing going in a way for me to make sure that I don't get bored with anything. You know what I mean? And that, okay, I know what we're doing. And hey, I had a little bit of a break. Maybe it's only a couple of weeks before that one pops back in somewhere else. You know what I mean? Um, so we'll figure that out. And I mean, who knows? That cycle thing may not work. I've got to actually sit down and think about it and go, where the hell are we in everything? Like, I know a couple of series are coming up to the point where the next generation would start, but everything else is just kind of starting. I think House Rules is kind of in the middle, but everything's like just starting the new generation. So it's like, well, shit, we're kind of like, it's going to be like, I don't know what's going to happen if we do it that way. So I would really have to think about it. And maybe that means, hey, when there's more coming in, and like if there's two series that are kind of gonna take a pause for two new things to come in, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, there's what, one, two, three things out. I can't even figure out which post-its are current things and which not. But then all of a sudden, what if like, oh my God, now there's, yeah, there would be three things because two of them would be staying constantly. So there'd be three things that all of a sudden are stopping, and then it's like, okay, well, we have alternate realities and Black Request that would come in. Now we're missing something. Okay, well, now we have a new series that we can put in. You know what I mean? And it's a way to kind of, okay, now we can introduce something else, another challenge that people want, even if it's a short challenge or something else, and kind of do this and kind of have different things. And I don't know, maybe that would be too much. Maybe it would be overwhelming for me to do that, but I kind of feel like the flow cycle could work just because, it wouldn't be, oh my God, this has been gone for months. It would be a matter of, okay, it's gone for a little while before we kind of rotate it back in because, we have an order like, okay, if alternate realities is pulled first, it's the first one back in the game when something else is on its break? Um, and then it keeps us fresh. We have a ton of different things. And I just don't want anyone to get to the point where, like, if something is gone for like a month or whatever, that it's like, oh, I just totally forgot about it and I don't care anymore. I want you guys to keep caring about the series. I want you to, like, I'm just hoping that if for some reason something got pulled, you would miss it enough to be like, I miss it too much, put it back. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. That's what I'm playing with in my head. I kind of wanted to get that out there. I know this is like a 6,000 hour long video. It was never going to be quick. Nothing's quick with me, but this was just our little discussion on what I want to do, what I'm thinking, what I'm pondering in my head. And I kind of want to get it out there, throw it to the wall, see what sticks, see what you guys think, because, it's important to me that I'm doing stuff on my channel that keeps you guys engaged, that keeps you happy. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm just going to take a break for a couple of weeks. I don't want to take a break for a couple of weeks. I'm right now, like, I'm so excited about playing my games and like all of the things that we can do that I'm motivated to do other challenges. And I'm not like, I'm so fucking bored, I don't want to do this. Like, I sat down like, and yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday when I was recording, and I was like, I'm I mean, I was way behind and I was mixing doing, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so behind and I got so much to do. But like when I was done, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with my recording, and I felt kind of sad. And I know I could do offline games, but to me is like, I'm barely going to pay attention to offline games. I have the most fun and I do the most and pay the most attention and have the most fun when I am recording stuff for you guys. And I know it's completely fucking crazy for me to be like, I want to put like 7 more things on. But I almost do. You know what I mean? And I know there's going to come a point where I'm going to be like, I hate myself because if I pop in those two other series and it's like, okay, so we got 9 things. I at one point had 11 different series going at a time. And I know that that's too much to handle. Oh my God, I can't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I know I technically have the two other series that I kind of started with the makeover and the renovation one that I've yet to do anything with for what, like a year now, probably? Good Lord, I don't remember the last time I did either one of those. And that's more like the I'm sitting around bored and I want to build or I want to do something. I should probably do something with those. And I totally can. And those are one-off videos anyway. But maybe those are things that if something fades out and I don't have a new series to fill in, I just fill in a couple of episodes of that. Those are harder to do because I don't know, it takes a lot of time to build and like to decorate and like whatever. But I should do more of those. But that's side note, sidebar, totally don't even worry. But I know that I had so many series going at once and I was like, oh my God, I'm going crazy and I have to cut it down. And now I have 7 and it was like, that's even a lot. But And so it's crazy to think like I'm going to add like 2 more. But I feel like if we do the waterfall flowy kind of thing where we just kind of pause things and fill things in and like whatever and do this like weird flow that, I mean, that could work because we're still only doing 7 different things at a time. It's going to take a little bit more brain power for me to be like, what frickin' things am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? What did I pause? Crap, what have I been doing? And like to remember to do that. But that's why I have a schedule that I write down. I mean, it's not anything set in stone. It's just I keep a note of what I am doing and when I am doing them and where they go when I upload them and this helps me keep track of what I need to record. And that might be a little bit easier than say recording 2 other things and saying, okay, now Tuesdays we get 2 sims and Thursdays we get 2 sims, and whatever. But I don't know. I mean, that if that's what you guys prefer, it's an extra hour for me to record on a Saturday. I'm trying to think, and I mean, maybe we try it that way and say, okay, yeah, I'll start those new series and we'll put them in. And if all of a sudden it becomes overwhelming where I can't handle recording 9 things all at once, I know I can record things on Sundays, but that's my time to upload and whatever. But um, if it becomes too much, then okay, then we have to drop down to the waterfall flow and we have to like move things in and out. I'm just thinking ahead that we're coming to the point where there's a couple of series that we could easily pause, fill in with new stuff um, in the next couple of weeks. And it would have to be a really fast thing. This has to be a fast decision because alternate realities and Blackwell Crust are coming to the point where they would need to be paused and I would need to get the other things in there. So leave it to me to plan ahead. Lucky I thought about this instead of like right after, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be easier for me. I do want your opinions. I know it's going to come down to whatever I decide and whatever works best for me, but I want your opinions. I want to know what you guys think because I really want to incorporate if there's a huge unanimous everybody agrees that it should be A, that's what I want to try to do. I don't want to be like, well, I'm going to do C, but everybody is clamoring that they want A. I want to be like, okay, if everybody wants A, that's what we're going to go with. If there's a toss up between A and B, okay, then what? Let me see what works best for me then between A and B. And I want to do it that way because, you know, I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds awful, but I mean, like, it's my channel. If I want to just not upload videos, I don't have to upload videos. If I want to upload one video a week, I can upload one video a week. But you guys are the ones that are watching. You're the ones that are basically consuming what I'm putting out. And so this is not just like, hey, I'm going to do whatever I want. This is, yeah, I can do whatever I want and I am going to do whatever I want technically. But I want you guys to realize that your input and the things that affect you are important to me. And I want to know that, hey, I think it would be so much better and I don't know if I can handle it this way or I mean even just your opinions on like what would be easier for you. I have no control as a subscriber to other channels that I watch in what they do. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I've never noticed anyone like ask like, "Hey, what do you guys think? Should I do A, B, or C?" And I know there are people that do that. But you know what I mean? And I feel like, hey, you know what? If I say A and they do C, whatever. I know that they're going to do whatever they want, but I like the fact that they at least know that, hey, there's other people involved here. This is, I mean, yes, 99% me. Not really, not even. That's not the breakdown. I shouldn't even say that. Like, it's not 50-50, obviously, because if all of you guys want one thing that I can't do, I got to worry about me. But in this situation, I want your input. I'm putting it out there because, am I crazy to try to do these 2 series? Absolutely, probably. Would it be good to kind of do a rotation? Yeah, I think that would work. But if it's something that's going to piss everyone off and be like, oh my God, we can't handle it, and I'm going crazy, I don't want to drive you guys crazy. You have to listen to me for now almost 35 minutes rambling about this. So, I feel like I owe you a little bit. Like at least kind of see what works. So, let me know what you think. And obviously, this comes with the caveat that at some point, um, my Shuno memoirs will be taken over. My guess is with the Scooby-Doo kind of LP if Pets comes out. Um, and if for some reason Pets comes out really soon, maybe it's never going to come out, but let's just say it does. Let's say it comes out in the summer or next quarter. Woohoo! That'd be great. Um, Maybe my Shuno Memoirs hasn't run its course yet and we're still doing that. Well, then you're going to get an extra one because, at some point that will kind of fill that place. But if my Shuno Memoirs is still happening at that time, I have no problem putting that will have 2 videos a day. And that, no, sure, no one's going to complain about that. But, that kind of a thing. So, and depending on how we structure this, obviously, if we do the waterfall things are going to change dates and days. If I try to cut down and say, okay, we're only going to have, 4 series that rotate in and out, like here's column A, here's column B, and A is going on, and then B goes on, and then A goes on, and B goes, or whatever. And things are, if we do it a little more structured, then, we're going to have to move things around on different dates, but there'll be a set date. To be honest, I feel like that would be a little bit more complicated than the waterfally flowy process, because that at least gives us 7 different videos. It's just nothing's ever going to be on a set date. It's not like House Rules will always be on a Tuesday when it's on. Well, if it leaves, it might come back on Thursday. You know what I mean? Who knows? But anyway, I've rambled long enough and you guys have sat with me patiently enough. So just let me know what you think. Or do you think I'm crazy for thinking of trying to do other series and doing a rotation? Do you want me to just keep what we have and wait and say, to hell with anything new? We only want to see what we currently have. Or is it like the kind of flowing idea where maybe there's more than 7 different things going on, but not all at the same time? Obviously, there's only going to be 7 a week, but we might get a new series for a couple of months and then an old series will come back and then, we'll be rotating things like that. Does that sound exciting? Does that sound something that hey, that would work really well because we'll get a lot more content? Let me know. And if that's something that you guys want to do, there's always the prospect that we're going to have points where, hey, this series is coming to an end and I have nothing to fill in. So we got to think of something new. And that means a lot more opportunity for you guys to make suggestions about short things or anything that we can do to, try to fill in those gaps. Because you know me, I like to do legacies and that's probably a bad idea. But hey, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I'm so sorry it's been so long. Leave your thoughts below. I will see you guys around, and I swear I hope next time I make it a little bit shorter for you guys. But anyway, I will see you around. Points, everything, thoughts below. Please fill it in. Let me know if I'm crazy. It's really important to me that you guys put your opinions below. So, yeah, hopefully you do. And I will see you guys around. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.